Welcome. My name is Tom Catanese. I welcome you to my professional profile of my seminars and symposiums. Everything you ever wanted to know about wine but were afraid to ask.
So now we go back in time. Who was the first DUI? Can anybody tell me who the first DUI was? Noah. He's in the Sistine Chapel. How did he get there? Now you have to understand, because of early times, God gave certain people brilliant brains, and he was an agriculturalist. So God told him how to raise grapes. And once he squeezed the grapes and put them into a vessel and drank them, they were very sweet. But he left it out in the air for 3 days. And the sugar turned to alcohol. And now he's drinking wine. He doesn't know it's wine until he's flat on his rear end with no clothes on. You see what I'm saying? Let's talk about wine. How many of you have seen wine on a wine chart? Usually in France, they have a wine chart. And what does a wine chart say? This is a 10-year, this was a 7-year, this was a 6-year, this was a 9-year for Burgundy, for Bordeaux, for Chablis. What does that name normally mean to you? I mean, is this a 10? That's a 10. That's a 10, okay. All right, so we all see the movie 10 where the young woman is running down the beach, So in Europe, first of all, you have to understand, California is 10 degrees south of France and Italy. And France, Germany, Spain, and Italy are 10 degrees up. They don't get as much sunshine as they need. So when someone says, oh, this is a French wine, it's a 10, it only means that they got 120 days of sunshine, 25 days of rain, and cool nights, or warm, hot days, and cool nights off of the Atlantic Ocean. So everybody now within the wine industry will tell you, oh my God, if that wine was a 10. What means is that they didn't have to add sugar to bring it up, to bring the sweetness factor up.
Here is my best wine trade secret for you. Invite 3 friends over to sample some wine. Ask each person to bring their favorite bottle of Burgundy, Merlot, and Zinfandel, and you purchase 1 bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon. Open all bottles, take a tumbler glass and fill it with 50% Cabernet, 20% Burgundy, 20% Merlot, and 10% Zinfandel. Stir the wine and let it sit for 5 minutes. You have just made the best wine you'll ever taste.
Mother Superior was in the Abbey. She says, sisters, we have a very, very big problem. We have a case of gonorrhea in the Abbey. And the senior, hard of hearing nun in the back, said, oh, I'm so glad. I'm so sick and tired of drinking Chardonnay. I'm sure you've all heard the name Dom Perignon.
Yes.
Okay. Who was Dom Perignon? Dom Perignon lived in the early 1700s. He was a blind Benedictine monk. He was in charge of the wine production for the Christian masses. When I say masses, I'm talking about the Catholic masses, where the priest is using the wine or whatever. So his tongue was so articulate, he could tell by drinking the wine which slope in the winery the grapes came from. That was how all right. By accident, and I have to assume that his interior angel said to him, Dom, why don't you put a little sugar in there and see what happens? I mean, look, what's it going to happen? Now, there were no corks back then, okay? So he pours a little sugar in, all right? It's late in the afternoon. He stuffs a rag in, He dips it into hot red wax, puts the bottle there, comes back the next morning, and the wax and the cloth are on the ceiling. And he's trying to figure out how, so now he does 5 bottles. Same thing happens. Now he's realizing something's going on in that bottle, so he then stays up the night and he starts to hear the fizz. Okay, that's the first. Then once he tastes the wine, because now it has bubbles in it, his famous words are, "Come quick, I'm drinking stars." All right, now the evolution of the champagne bottle actually took a big turn. Once he started to make champagne, the heel of the bottle would blow out. So because of the pressure from the carbonation of this would cause, so every champagne bottle that you see has what they call a font. All right? And the reason for this indenture is to keep it from exploding, plus the glass that they make. The other real thing, and this actually is still doing today, the rim, there was only one company in England who could make a bottle that had a rim on it. So he made a mushroom cork and then wired the bottle, and that took 5 years of development for him to understand how that happened.
And God said to Noah, Plant and maketh thy vineyard, and crush thy berries into a vessel. Use the nectar, the blood of the grape, to help celebrate my high holy days and my special festivals. To view the rags to riches roller coaster lifetime story of Robert Mondavi, visit www.thisisyourlifetimestory.com. Tom takes you from Napa Valley to the Philadelphia Flower Show. Here are 11 topics that I will use to address the blind wine tasting party. The mystery of wine. Dom, the godfather of champagne. Jesus turns water into wine. reading wine labels, Moses and the 12 Commandments, 1976 Paris wine tastings, Robert Mondavi changes the wine world. Why are Napa wines so expensive? Your BYOB. Wine pricing today, the term 10 in France. I offer 3 different wine seminars and parties. Why were American wines so poor in quality back in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s? I will discuss the inside trade secrets of the facts that you should know. A blind wine tasting party will educate you and your senses to the best wines that you will ever taste. A blind champagne tasting party. This is something that no one else does except Tom Catanese. You will be surprised at the sparkling bubbles you will discover. You and I can both drink to that. I only drink 1 glass a day. My doctor said, Tom, just drink 1 glass of champagne a day and you'll live forever. So I said, how big of a glass do you want me to get, Doc? He said, that's up to you. This is an imperial bottle of Robert Mondavi wine. I used a coat hanger to create a wraparound garland to the bottle. This is a triple magnum bottle of champagne. I did the exact same thing. I fashioned the wire around the bottle and then added the flowers using both floral wire and floral tape. Here I have created many mini corsages and have used the cellophane tape to hold them to the glass stems. Here are a few gifts for your review. Here are just a few bottles of champagne from my extensive collection. Any friend of wine is a friend of mine.